The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
So Russian President Vladimir Putin doesn't think crypto can replace the US dollar in settling oil trades yet, though he does believe it has value, showing some tolerance towards cryptocurrencies in an interview with CNBC. And joining us now to discuss is Beth Buchanan, President of Americas and Global Chief Legal Officer at Merkle Science, a predictive crypto risk and intelligence platform. Hi there, Beth. So we heard Vladimir Putin asking whether he was asked whether he thought Bitcoin or other crypto could be used as an alternative to the dollar in the context of U.S. imposed dollar-denominated economic sanctions, and Putin saying it's too early to talk about using crypto in the trading of energy sources, but that crypto has value and may exist as a means of payment. Does this mean that Russia is warming up to crypto?
Well, anytime you hear a foreign leader saying anything remotely positive about cryptocurrency, I think it's really a good thing. And so it's statements like this and those from Chairman Powell saying that, the U.S. is not going to ban cryptocurrency are all very good for the expansion of the cryptocurrency market.
Beth, one thing that is still dollar denominated, of course, in many respects, are stablecoins. Are we going to see a coordinated global effort to regulate it, or is it going to continue being left in the hands of this individual countries to do so? Primarily, though, the United States. Most stablecoins are denominated in dollars. Is the world kind of looking to the U.S. to lead the regulation charge there? Or will there be some coordination?
Yeah, I would expect that every country is going to set its own regulations with regard to stablecoins. Right now, what we're seeing in the U.S. is that a lot of the companies that are offering them are doing things on their own that are very positive, like releasing monthly audits, disclosing what the amount of backing is for the stablecoin. And these are all very positive things. So I would expect this to continue, and individual countries will have to set their own framework around the expansion of stablecoins.
But is there any concern, at least, that if they're not heavily regulated or at least partially regulated, you could have a situation where stablecoins effectively turn into either securities or into some form of money printing, if you will, an inflationary product. If they're not, if one country isn't regulating their own stablecoins enough, or if another country allows it to get out of control.
Yes. So at this point, the way stablecoins are designed, you have an asset that can be used to exchange for other assets, and the stablecoin is backed dollar for dollar by another asset. So I don't think that there's a risk that this is going to be labeled as security. And again, I think that like all other crypto regulation, each country is going to have to set their own rules. And I think it would be dangerous, in fact, if we had a global rule with regard to stablecoins.
Let's just talk a little bit about the U.S. specifically. So clearly, cryptocurrency has caught the attention of regulators in this country, and but there's also the danger that they will go too far and there will be overregulation that stifles innovation. I'd be curious if you could just tell us a little bit what you think are some specific regulatory actions that would actually be good for the cryptocurrency market.
Sure. I mean, I think it's important to understand that cryptocurrency is a $2.06 trillion financial opportunity. And this is a large number, which shows the global acceptance. And the criminal activity with regard to cryptocurrencies is actually less than 1%. It's like 0.062%. So clearly the criminal illicit activity is not really as large as some reports might make it seem to be. But nonetheless, more clear regulatory guidance with regard to what is a security, for example, and what is a commodity, I think would be very helpful, particularly to financial institutions that would like to get into the cryptocurrency space and are not used to dealing with regulatory ambiguity.
Do you feel that there's one of the issues with the U.S. has been just kind of a lack of coordination among the different agencies that regulate cryptocurrency? Do you think that there should be, for example, do you think like the SEC should play a greater role or the CFTC should play a greater role? Like, how do you solve that problem with the fact that you have these multiple agencies kind of doing different things and everyone's sort of confused about who does what?
Sure. So in the U.S., unlike some of the other countries that have developed regulatory frameworks, the countries outside of the U.S. have one agency that is regulating all of the cryptocurrency activity, depending upon exactly what it is. In the U.S., we already have a very developed regulatory framework with different agencies responsible for different activities and for regulating different asset classes. It would be helpful if we had a little more clarity between the CFTC and the SEC, where their jurisdictions could be better carved out. But I do think we're going to need a congressional action to maybe set those boundaries a little better than they already are, so that we have something more than the Supreme Court's Howey test and SEC guidance to help us divine what is a security and what is not.
Mary Beth, you mentioned the incredibly small amount of criminal activity that occurs on cryptocurrency, but nonetheless, isn't one of the main concerns for states the control of capital flows? That basically that they can't keep on top of money going out of their countries so much as worried about money coming in. And that they may want to stop it. Is there any indication that states are getting together to try and regulate it in a coordinated effort, at least, to get on top of crypto to keep money from leaving their countries?
Yeah, I don't really think that the concern is with money leaving any individual country. I think the concern is where the cryptocurrency is going and what it is being used for, whether it's being used for illicit activity in the drug trafficking, sexual exploitation, terrorist activity. So that's really the concern, and that's why you have things like the new Department of Justice task force that was just set up last week to help coordinate the efforts of law enforcement to monitor and prevent illicit activity.
If we could switch topics just slightly, the IMF came out with a report warning of the threat of cryptoization to the global economy, that it could hamper central banks' control over setting monetary policy and cause liquidity risks as well as destabilize economies. I wonder, what is your hot take on the dangers of cryptoization, the adoption of cryptocurrencies by other nations? Do you agree that it is a danger to central banks and the financial system?
I think in certain countries with very weak central banks and weak financial systems, yes, it could be. But for developed nations, I don't think the cryptocurrency is in any way a threat. I think it is here to stay, and it would be a very positive sign for central banks to be more involved in the development of this asset class, which definitely is here to stay.